We start, Craig, our daily assessment here around Major League Baseball in Minneapolis between the Twins and the Yankees. The Yanks take game number 1 yesterday, 5-1 in this set against Minnesota. It is game number 2 back in the Twin Cities today. Pablo Lopez on the bump for the Twins. They are booked as a home favorite, minus 130. Will the Twins follow the odds and bounce back to get a victory in this series against New York today?
Yeah, look, I mean, another good matchup. I think the Yankees, look, they have dominated the Twins through the years. And, yesterday on the show, I said that I thought Chris Paddock could go over his strikeout total. I mean, unfortunately, Friezo bet $20,000 on it. I'm sorry about that. I mean, there's nothing I can do. It's just one prop. It's one prop. Next time, check in with Ohtani's interpreter if you want to get a bigger limit. But naturally today, I think I'm going right back to it today. I mean, Pablo Lopez, 10 strikeouts, 8 strikeouts, last 3 starts. I know the Yankees are a different animal. I get it. But I do think that I'm going to try again today. It was only by a half yesterday with Paddock. I think Pablo Lopez goes over his strikeout total. Again, I'm looking at a game that's a coin flip. It's a minus 115, minus 120. I can tell you that I think the Twins are going to win because potentially they have the better pitcher on the mound. But as we know, it's baseball, and, guys just do not go deep into games generally. And so it's down to the bullpens. And then in a one-run game, anything can happen. So we'll go back to the strikeout prop today with Pablo.
Toronto won game number 1 of the series versus Baltimore. Rain out yesterday and a pitching change today in a 12:35 start in the Charm City. Bradish is going to be on the mound, who's been very good in his limited innings this year. But instead of Bassett getting the start, Yusei Kikuchi, the left-handed pitcher, will get the start. Who's had a pretty decent 2024 season. Minus 126 are the current updated numbers in a total of 7.5. Afternoon action at Camden Yards, Craig. Any ideas here?
Yeah, maybe a little bit of a lean toward an under. I see 7.5 here. Usually the afternoon games for teams that generally have the higher totals, which Baltimore is involved in, maybe not so much Toronto, is they just play those games differently. They'll never admit it, but they're up there swinging. Everyone knows that it's the last game of a series or a day game, and so it's on the road traveling somewhere else, maybe for both teams in the spot. I haven't looked at the future schedule. So a decent pitching matchup here. I would lean a little toward an under of 7.5, but not one of my favorites today.
You still see the American League East odds with the Yanks actually now in front, a half game in front of Baltimore. New York, a minus 175. Favorite, Baltimore, second best price at plus 170. A large drop-off to Toronto at 18-1. Craig, we asked you about this division yesterday. It still remains that 2-team race as of this moment. Now we go out to the desert in a duel today, some afternoon baseball in Arizona. Brandon Pfaadt on the bump for the D-backs, the reigning National League pennant winners, who haven't really been able so far, Craig, to replicate that success of a season ago. 3 games under 500 in the Reds, the up-and-coming team last year in the Central. It hasn't been pretty as of late. They've dropped 8 of their last 10. Who starts to right the ship today out in Phoenix?
Yeah, it's really, I think Arizona is the play at minus 140. It's a lot of juice. So, I tend to, if I'm going to play this at this level, it may be minus a 1.5. There's a couple of different props I see out there today. Ellie De La Cruz with total bases is potentially something to look at. And again, doesn't have to happen in the first 5 innings. You get to Arizona's bullpen thus far, not as good as it was last year. For the Diamondbacks, Ben, the recipe is you go into the winter, you sign Eduardo Rodriguez, and you have Corbin Carroll, and you think, wow, this is a team that's going to repeat or get back there this year. And as they say, these best plans don't always go the way that they thought. But look, the Diamondbacks at this time last year were not thought to be a contender to get to the World Series. I don't even think that they were in August or September. So you give them some time. Reds have been a disappointment. There are going to have to be some changes with the Reds if they fall flat at the end of the season, finishing 8-10 games under 500. That's not going to be an acceptable season for them.
Hot start early for the Pittsburgh Pirates. See if they can get back that magic of the first couple weeks, going to take on Milwaukee today. It's going to be Perez the lefty versus the big gas pump out there in Robert Gasser. 20 batters that he's faced. How about this, Craig? 0 ISO, 0 weighted on base percentage. We got to love the big gas pump out here as a favorite Milwaukee, no?
Yeah, I mean, he loves Memorial Day, too. So, I mean, the schedule is really favorable for him to not see any family and just be home. Maybe Gasser won't even be with the team on Memorial Day, Don. He doesn't want to be around his teammates. He just wants to smoke a cigar. Got to play a guy like that today, right?
Gasser.
I would think. He looked good in his first start.
Listen,
Brewers are better.
I really hope I don't know how things are going to go in Milwaukee in the next 10 days to get us to Memorial Day or so. But if Robert Gasser is getting the start for the Brew Crew on Memorial Day in a full MLB slate, we are putting in a huge bet, a Joe Frizo 20K bet on
20K.
Robert Gasser and the Brewers.
Crypto play.
Guaranteed. Each of us. Everybody shake on it now.
Yep.
Shake on it.
Yep.
Shake on it. Robert
Which
Gasser.
hand do I go? I'm going to go the
Wrong way,
opposite way. I'm going to try to get you here. Are you over here? Are you over here? I can't
Donnie,
get
who you shaking?
Where are you? All right.
Who you shaking?
Oh, wow.
Good times. Robert Gasser, the big gas pump for Milwaukee today. More MLB talk next. Just to update a few things here with a new guy that has been added to the early line MLB roster of our favorites around the bigs, the big gas pump Robert Gasser, who was sensational in his first start of the year on Friday against the Cardinals. 6 innings of shutout work, only allowing 2 hits. We said that on Memorial Day, if Robert Gasser gets the start for Milwaukee, it's a 20K bet here on the early line. He starts today for the Brew Crew against the Pirates. He is slated to start on Tuesday next week against Miami. If there are no scratches and things follow a regular schedule, we think Robert Gasser starts on Memorial Day, Monday, May 27th, against the Chicago Cubs. It's a crypto platinum play, as Joe Lisi would say.
Yeah, the big gas pump, man. You got to get him. Got to get him while he's hot at this point. You can make that first trip around the National League, see if he can be filthy and dominant, and maybe he can be an adopted son of this program, just like we brought over Vinnie P.
Sure.
We could have a whole family here. We have a whole family.
We're going to have a whole family. Vinny Pasquantino, the Pasquatch Vinnie P. We've got our guy Lucas Gill, not to be confused with Luis Heel, the starter for the Yanks, and now maybe Robert Gasser, depending on if we get that Memorial Day start in just about a week and a half. All right, back to the Daily Diamond Dash here on this Wednesday on the early line. The California rivals, the California contest up in Northern California. So far, the Dodgers have been dominant to start this opening midweek series. Yesterday, a 10-2 victory over the Giants in San Francisco. LA on the road once again. Today, over the Gigantes. Logan Webb on the bump, though. LA remains a slight road favorite, minus 136. Has the starter for the Dodgers been named?
I'm seeing Ryan Yarbrough listed here on a couple outlets going up against Logan Webb today. So that's what we're looking at. So not a dominant starter at this point, but the handicap should be pretty simple as well. Most people are going to look at the Dodgers and be like, ooh, that's a cheap price to take. But if we are in Arkansas, Ben, what do they do? What do they do at Arkansas? They call them hogs. He said that doesn't make any sense. That doesn't fit this game. No, because we're going to call them dogs today, baby. That's the San Francisco Giants on that dog price today. Come on, wasn't that a perfect segue? Call them hogs, call them dogs. Dog play today, baby. Come on now. Come on. I mean, you take a look at the pitching matchup. Logan Webb is absolutely sensational on the mound this year. 225 batters. Call them dogs out here, baby. Let's go. Whoa. There you go.
Big Giants. That's how you finish up the call to the dogs today in San Francisco. Listen, I truly did not expect that to be where you go. The finale of this series, the Dodgers looking for the sweep over San Francisco. LA returns home to host the Cincinnati Reds in a 4-game weekend set, following this game against San Francisco that Donnie believes will go the way of the Giants. That was really good. You know, sometimes you build something up, Donnie. You start to allude to something and lead into something, and I have no idea where you're going, like Robert Gasser, the big gas pump, and then a call to the Hogs for Arkansas. I was like, what is going on here? What is he doing to call them dogs today between the Giants and the Dodgers? Sensational. Really proud of you. Great to work alongside. A day baseball game this afternoon out in the Pacific Northwest between the Mariners and the Royals. The M's a favorite, minus 146, as they were yesterday. KC won outright as a dog. Total today, just 7.5.
Now, also, we can have some fun with this as well. This is right off the top of my head. I mean, I should be, a comedian at this point. You take a look at the pitcher on the mound here for the Mariners, right? It's Ric Flair's son out here. Why, Brian? Woo! Is on the mound today, so I had to get that one out of the way. But at the same time, if you're locking this one up, look at this season, Ben. He's only faced 15 batters, so you can't really go off of that. But let's go back to last year. 178 left-handed batters he's faced. He's a right-handed pitcher, 258 ISO, weighted on base percentage 403. So I ask you right now, Ben, Are there any left-handed batters in that lineup that you might be looking towards today for those Kansas City Royals that have been absolutely dominating against right-handed pitching? That's our guy, Vinnie P, a 209 ISO power number and a 357 weighted on-base percentage. Now, granted, we're hoping Woo from last year translates to this year from the left-hand side, and if he does, Vinnie P should be one of those guys that you should have on your card today for an RBI. Not sure if I will because I like to look at this year's statistics, but based on last year, he's got a legitimate chance to do some damage today.
I mean, with all this conversation about our TEL MLB guys, I feel like Vinnie P is a must bet to record a ribby today in that game in Seattle. Our final game that we had to break down, but we had too much fun with the jokes. Tanner Houck has been sensational for Boston this year. The Red Sox minus 134 DRS likes the under of that total of 8 between the Rays and the Sox.